What's going on, awesome people? I would like to welcome you to another episode of Awesome People. Man, it's been actually a while since I've done these things and I miss it. I always miss it, and then all of a sudden life gets the best of me and there's all these like delays and me being able to schedule more of these awesome conversations with awesome Iranians. But I'm just happy that you guys are joining here today. I have a special guest, my dear friend Sahar Eini, which I'll get to in a second. In the meantime, I have a couple of fantastic announcements. They're fantastic to me, and I hope it's fantastic to you. First of all, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, next Friday, October 31st, after dark, a international Halloween experience happening at Darna, featuring exclusive entertainment DJ Kia, DJ Maz. Tehran is going to be joining me as we co-host this incredible Halloween experience in the nation's capital. So please join us on Friday, October 31st. Get your tickets via the link in bio. We'd love to see you. I want to give a special shout out to Ava Abadi. She's the owner of Expert Skin Solutions. She's our gold sponsor, and I'm so grateful for her and her business. It's an esthetician spa and a beauty spa in Virginia, in the Vienna area. And I hope that you guys support her because she's supporting us, which allows us to support the community by doing awesome events. So I've been trying to tag her a lot. Make sure if you're in the DMV that you give her a shout out, that you message her and you try to go and support her business. If you're looking for the best in skincare in the DMV, that's definitely somebody that can go check out. Other than that, yesterday we announced the big information or the details about the 2026 Impact Retreat happening in Miami, January 16th through the 18th. It's an epic 2-night, 3-day experience, which is also why we have the lovely Sahar Eini here today, so we can talk about the retreat in more detail and talk about what her involvement is, which is a lot. She's really helping out a lot, and I'm so grateful for her. So let's bring in Sahar Eini. If you're friends of Sahar, show her some love and let her know how much you appreciate stuff that she does professionally, which we'll talk about right now on this little chat. So thank you all for joining, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Awesome People with my special guest, Sahar Eini. Hi, Sahar.
سلام ایمان جان خوب هستین.
Yes, Durud Bashama. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you. Happy Thursday.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I know we've been having a lot of video calls lately because you are an integral part of the Impact Retreat that we're doing in Miami in January. But before we get to the details of the retreat and how awesome it's going to be and how you're going to be a part of it, for those that don't have the pleasure of knowing who Sahara Aini is, why don't you go ahead and give a little 1-minute background of yourself, please?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Sahar Eini, and I have dedicated my life for the past 6, 7 years to educate myself first, and then my clients and families that I have the honor to work with to, in one sentence, create deeper connection. What we are going to talk about today through hypnotherapy and somatic coaching.
And so, what was the catalyst? Like, Chishod Asan, you decided that, you know what, like, I really want to study this more. Because, we even talked about in a video call earlier how us Iranians, the sense of belonging is important. And I think it's important for anybody in their specific nationality. But what made you want to go like one layer deeper, to kind of like study it and hopefully like pass on that knowledge to other people? What was the catalyst?
I think the first motivation was that I myself, I was struggling like with the sense of belonging as a person who migrated several times. Like I was born and raised in Iran. I left Iran when I was 23. I went to Sweden, which was a very different society. I lived there for like 5 years, and then I left Sweden, went to Canada, which was more diverse, but still very different. Again, to different, two different places. Like we started in Montreal when I first went to Canada, and then moved to Ontario. Like had my children there, and then like 2 years ago I moved to Miami. So I have constantly been adapting myself and my families to new places, new rules, new societies, new culture. So this sense of belonging and this deep connection, which wasn't only for me, like research backed this up, that everything we do, all our motivations coming from seeking connections. Like it's something that we are hardwired to seek and avoid the pain of rejection and isolation. Um, and yeah, I was studying the whole different things. My background was in nanotechnology, and I went all the way up to like PhD, candidacy, and everything. But at some point, I realized like I don't belong to this field, and I always had this longing for something deep and meaningful. And in my last migration here to Miami, I found you and what you do for the community. And I feel like together we can create a community that feels safe and creates that deep sense of belonging, actually.
And I think one of the things that we even talked about like a week or two ago is that you were trying to figure out how to position yourself in the marketplace as far as like who you are and what you do. And I was encouraging you to, you know, to kind of speak to English speaking Iranians
Mhm.
because if you just go Farsi then you're just kind of people like me wouldn't be able to kind of learn from your experience because there aren't too many Iranians that are in your field that are also speaking to people like us who were born and raised outside of Iran. And so my question to you is what are some things that you talk to your clients about, or what are some of the modalities that you're doing? Because you mentioned guided meditation, you mentioned
Mhm.
this the somatic coaching. So, what are some of the ways that you're integrating what you're learning from an educational standpoint to real life experiences?
Yeah, I have created a framework for myself that puts together like different layers of the human psyche and body to be whole. And because at first, like I got certified in hypnotherapy, I enjoyed like diving deep in the subconscious mind, like finding all those stories that we create around like not being enough and those beliefs that unfortunately if we don't go back and look and like bring awareness to it, we go ahead and live it a whole life based
Unresolved.
on, based on those um, limiting beliefs and like lies. And this is one level. The hypnotherapy was great, was giving us like deep information. But at some point, I realized that we need to integrate this into daily life. Like, what do I do with all this information? Yes,
Mm.
this was my story. This was my life. These are my limiting beliefs. But what do I do with it? And that's where I decided to like get certified and educate myself with life coaching. And I was diving deep into different modalities, mindset, which I think most of us have been living with the mind, the conscious part of the mind for so long that we forgot about the body. And this was where the somatic healing in somatic modality came in, and for me was profound. It was like a missing part of a puzzle for so long, where I first time felt safe in my own body and belonged to my own body. And since then, I kind of integrated all these modalities like the hypnotherapy, the somatic coaching, and the mindset to kind of align the mind body connection. Because also, like, our body is a part of our unconscious. It's um, kind of a very mysterious part of our life, which has been storing and recording all this information. And we just need to learn how to tap into it and how to get intimate and familiar with our own body and the sensations that we feel. Besides,
Can you elaborate, sorry, Coach, can you elaborate exactly what does somatic mean and like in practice, what does that entail?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because we're not like, this is something that we like for the past few years just trying to like the healers are kind of focusing on. It's relatively new. Like
Mm.
we mostly know how to do like cognitive therapy, how to educate ourselves with positive thinking and stuff like that. But somatic is where you focus on the sensations that comes from your body when you think a certain thought, when you feel a certain emotions. And it's interesting if I tell you that every action we take is kind of driven by these sensations in our body. Like we feel stress, we jump on a phone and call a friend, or like we take a shower, we are scared, we think of kind of protecting ourselves. So
Mm.
all these emotions start with the sensations within the body, and most of us, we are unfamiliar, we don't even know like it's what it means to get familiar with the body and with the sensations that are coming from our emotions. But the more we do this in practice and we sit in our own تو خلوت
Ways.
خودمون میشینیم, like in our stillness,
Yeah.
we get familiar with this body and we learn the most important outcome of it is to create this sense of safety from within.
And so is that where like the guided meditation and just quietness and space with yourself, is that where it all ties in?
That that's part of it, but somatic healing is different than just meditation, because in
Mm.
most modalities in meditation you also try to quiet the mind, like you are also still kind of focusing on the mind. But somatic is where you are open and feel safe enough to explore your body, your
Mhm.
sensations. That also happens through deep guided meditation. Like the meditation has to come first, and then you are guided to explore the sense of safety in your body. It's a very deep and peaceful experience. It's hard to just talk about it, you have to feel it. That's why and also like after, what is the outcome? The outcome is that you feel safe, you feel open hearted. That's
Mhm.
why I recommended to do this, like kind of incorporate this into our retreat, because as a small group of people that we want to create deep bondings, deep connection, and kind of that sense of belonging, we need to first feel safe in our own bodies, feel welcome and open to talk about deeper connections, like vulnerabilities and what our real problem is, rather than just like
Surface level.
superficial
And,
connection. Yeah.
and so the somatic coaching, you do it both one-on-one and in small groups. Am I understanding that correctly, that it can be done in both settings, or are
Yeah.
they normally just group settings?
No, no, no. It's both the individual and group settings. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then, yeah, because you mentioned that this is what you're going to be doing within the retreat, now let's go ahead and share with our friends, what is exactly the Impact Retreat happening January 16th through the 18th in Miami. And I'll share what I think the retreat's going to be about, and then you add the little parts that I'm
Yes,
missing. But
for sure.
but essentially, we're trying to bring 14 awesome Iranians from around the world to join us for a 2-night, 3-day all-encompassing, all-inclusive experience where they get to enjoy health and wellness activities, from morning sound baths on the beach to morning yoga on rooftop decks to um, Persian Zumba to fun on the beach, fun at the park with picnics, and we're going to be having a sunset cruise with DJ Kia, and we're going to be having, of course, Persian food, Persian music, Persian drinks, and so a lot of fun. And then at the heartbeat of this retreat is what we're doing called Can-Do Conversations. And I think the Can-Do Conversations very much tie into where your role also comes in, because
Yeah.
in order for people to really feel comfortable, they need to have a safe space to share some of their vulnerabilities and, just personal things. And us as Iranian immigrants and children of Iranian immigrants, we have a lot of baggage, that has to
Mhm.
do with how we were raised, especially outside of Iran. And our hope and goal collectively is that in this retreat, within these can-do conversations, we can all feel comfortable that these are fellow Iranians that have gone through a similar journey, and that we can have deeper level conversations instead of surface level, and hopefully those conversations will be transformative. Hopefully they'll be impactful, and now you can kind of start talking about how, as part of this, you're going to have, your session. So why don't you dive a little bit deeper into,
Yeah.
what you hope to accomplish with fellow Iranians during that retreat?
My hope personally is for every person who join us on this retreat is to feel that deep sense of belonging rather than just fitting in. We were talking about this earlier with Imran John. That was it's interesting. Every time I bring this topic up, people are shocked. Like, aren't they the same thing? Like fitting in means sense of belonging. No, it's very different according to research, actually. That fitting in is where you are not fully accepted and you feel like you have to change parts of you or hide some parts of you in order to be fully accepted and liked in a group of people. Versus deep sense of belonging is where you are truly effortlessly accepted as who you are. You don't have, like, you have nothing to hide, nothing to protect, and nothing to prove. It's just this real connection that you can make. And through the sense of belonging, we feel safe in the communities that we have that sense of safety, and this is a sacred place to be yourself, to just bring all part of you to the table and be your true authentic self. Again, with the according to research, the most deepest sense of belonging in people happens when you contribute to your communities.
Mm.
But why I focus on sense of safety, because you can only contribute and be yourself and enjoy like your involvement when you are truly accepted, when you feel that you don't need to change anything, you don't need to constantly like judge yourself or others.
Mhm.
And this is what we are trying to create. And I love the fact that this group is so small and intimate that we really get to go deep and find those deep connections in relationships, hopefully lifetime friendships. I'm getting my
Yes.
hopes high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Why not? I mean, that's really one of the things, is that I hope that we really forge bonds that will last a long, long time, But you
Mhm.
did mention about the sense of belonging and how we feel that we would like to contribute to our community. Tell us what stood out about this retreat, that when I asked you to be a part of it, you didn't just become one of the practitioners of the retreat, you're becoming one of the individuals that are integrally helping behind the scenes in the planning and the preparation of this entire retreat. So I would love to kind of have you share, like, why you're deciding to allocate your valuable time. I mean, you're a mother of two, you're a wife, you have your own professional career, and you're allocating your precious time and expertise to this retreat. Why?
I think I just answered your question because that gives me the sense of belonging. Like I'm contributing to my
You're right.
community. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is a right spot to do so. Like I see since 2 years ago that I get familiar with your work, and I'm watching you trying so hard to create the kind of community that I just talked about. Like that's more than superficial, like where we can create a safe space to know each other on a deeper level and to talk about like real problems that we are struggling on daily basis. Like I personally don't have any family here. Like I don't have any very close friends here. Like knowing that Yeah, except for you guys are one.
Hello.
Of course. No,
No,
I
I
mean
got you. I
that
got you. Yeah.
I definitely feel that longing to have a community, and
Yeah.
I feel like this is a beautiful space to start with, and
Yeah.
it aligns with all my values.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I'm so incredibly grateful for it. And I remember even a couple of weeks ago, you kind of mentioned that I'm sorry to make this public, but you were like, I'm still not sure if I should be in Miami. Like you almost were like Dodel Budi
Of
with like
course.
possibly even going back to Toronto, and which I hope doesn't happen. Only to go back to do awesome retreats like you just did like a
And
month
come
ago in
back.
Toronto. Yeah. But one thing that we also have in common is that Toronto has such a large population of
Mhm.
Iranians, or Ontario in Canada, and there's so much events, so much activities that like you almost take it for granted because it's just always there, right? Same for me. I was in DC for 30 years, from age 10 to 40, and then came down here during the pandemic. And, like I knew that there was a small community of Iranians, and the
Mhm.
couple of Iranians that I did know, they were like, yeah, it's just Iman, like there's just no community over here. And I was like, you know what? I'm not too sure about that. I have to put the word out there and see really are there Iranians, and even if it's a small group, let's get them together, And so that's what's been happening the last 5 years. And the last couple of years, you see that, oh, wow, there are actually Iranians. Like when you announce Shabi Yalda, there are a couple hundred
Oh
people that have
yeah,
come.
you
When you
really
do,
enjoyed that
when,
experience of
yeah, and
Shabbat.
you were there a guest speaker doing poetry, and so the moral of the story has been for me is that even in the small cities of Iranian representation, there's still an opportunity to find that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And in my case, which I think goes hand in hand with sense of belonging, is to be able to make an impact, to be of service to the community, right? And so that's really what we're doing here in South Florida, and that's why when I was trying to figure out where to have this impact retreat, I was like, you know what, Miami is a perfect place. It's such a um, um, it's such an incredible city, Miami. There's so much opportunity here. There's the fun and the sun, but the nature, the elements, the so many things that we can do activity wise, and we're trying to jam pack as much of that in 2 nights and 3 days,
The
so that.
only thing we're missing here is a stronger Iranian community.
Yes, and and
That,
and but we're working hand in hand to
yeah.
to make that happen. And but it takes people like you to want to raise your hand and say, "Hey, Iman, I'd like to kind of like join with whatever you're doing and see how we can do it." And I feel like the results are speaking for itself. Every day more and more people are coming to our events, they're coming to our online experiences, and I have no doubt that we're going to have a great group of people here in January for the retreat, which, by the way, if anyone's interested in finding out more information about the Impact Retreat, they can click the link in my bio. And you'll be surprised just how much we've jam-packed into this 2 night, 3 day experience. So whether it's the food, the music, the fun, the health and wellness, the great conversations, and the new friendships, it's all jam-packed. My good friend Tehran, the hilarious Tehran, is going to be joining us that weekend as well. He's going to be co-leading these can-do conversations, the can-do conversations that are intended to be transformative and impactful. And so, I feel like we put in the perfect balance of entertainment, culture, um, some education, some enlightenment, and some self reflection, which I think is very important. So, if you're looking for new relationships, new friendships, and just a weekend getaway that'll be fun and exciting and unique, then I think the Impact Retreat is worth looking into. What do you think?
Uh, well, you were describing it. I'm just kind of imagining all this fun, and I'm like, yeah, this is a kind of retreat that's balanced in an Iranian way,
Yeah.
meaning that the joy is heavier than wellness,
Well,
but still a lot of
yes.
like wellness activities. I'm just joking, but
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm super excited to join, and I'm inviting all my friends.
Yeah.
Miami is a beautiful city, especially for people who fly from outside. Like,
Yes.
especially inviting my friends from Toronto because by that time there would be like
No,
heavily
yeah.
snowing in Toronto.
Instead of being in the blizzard on that weekend, come down. And it's also for the people that are in America, it's MLK weekend, so it's a long weekend.
Mhm.
And that Sunday, January 18th, even though the retreat officially comes to a close, because we have Tehran in town, we're going to be having a very intimate comedy session that's open to the public so people can enjoy a comedy show by the one and only Tehran, who's so funny and entertaining in his own right. And so, yeah, so I feel like we have the perfect balance created for that weekend. And I think it's a stepping stone to doing longer retreats eventually where we can do even more activities. But for this first one, I figured a 2 night, 3 day, it gives a nice little sample. It's like the appetizer
For
to
sure, for
for
sure.
future main dishes.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, I want to add this, Imanjun, as a person who attends a lot of retreats around the world, like this one is so special because this is the first Iranian retreats, like where
mhm.
you get to have the Iranian music, Iranian conversations. Like, I feel like this would be a lot more joyful beside all the like wellness, like meditation, the sound baths and everything that's very relaxing and beautiful. But this is very specific. Like I personally am very excited because I think this is the first Iranian retreat that um, we are having, and we should
I
leverage that as
I believe so. I think definitely of this caliber, definitely in Miami, and so, but I hope that more of these are created all around the world because I really think that our fellow Iranians they would benefit tremendously from having these unique transformative experiences. And so we'll see how it all plays out, and we hope to have 14 spots filled out very quickly. I know we already have a couple that are locked in. So we technically have less than 14 spots. So if you're interested, make sure to contact us or click the link in the bio that has all the information. Before I let you go, Sarjan, I like to always ask um, my fellow Iranians, what are you most proud of being Iranian? So if you can share a little bit of your thoughts about the pride that you have as an Iranian, I would appreciate it.
I have a deep love for our literature and poetry. So when it comes to Iranian culture, first thing comes to my mind is Rumi, and maybe this is an early announcement, but I'm working on a TED talk that's relating Rumi's wisdom, mysticism to neuroscience,
Oh
and
my God, it's amazing.
yeah, this is very interesting. Like it's been on my mind for a while now. That's now it's coming out, and
Hmm.
yeah, this
So
is
this is breaking news right here. If you heard it here first on Awesome People.
yes, yeah.
No, that's beautiful. And
And
hopefully,
I'm actually incorporating the Rumi wisdom in our meditation, which is the first time that I'm doing it in English. Because if I do in Farsi, it's
yes,
easy, but that also would be a part of my program in this retreat.
I absolutely love that. And we're gonna definitely figure out a period in this retreat for you to share also some of your favorite poetry. I know my mom is definitely gonna share some poetry as well, but I feel like we have plenty of time to enjoy different verses and different poetry by all of our great legendary poets. So looking forward to having you integrate your favorite poets as well.
Sure, sure. I'm
All right.
so excited for this. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for all the time and effort you're putting in. I can see that
it's
you're
my
pouring
pleasure.
your soul into this, and I'm sure it would be great for all
Thank
of
you.
us.
It's my pleasure. And thank you again for believing in the project and always putting your hand up and wanting to contribute these types of events. They just wouldn't be the same without fellow individuals like yourself to want to make all this happen. So I'm looking forward to the collaborations in the months to come leading up to the retreat. I have no doubt the retreat is going to be amazing. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
And
Pleasure.
I appreciate you also agreeing to be the first person as I restart Awesome People. Every couple of months, I go on a hiatus, and I needed a reason to get back and do more of this stuff. So thank you so much for putting your hand up and agreeing to do this.
It was a pleasure, Imanjun. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and for sure we'll be in touch because we got a lot of work to do.
We'll see you soon. Thank
قربونت.
you.
خداحافظ. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sahar Eini, certified hypnotherapist and life coach, creator of the Bliss Method. And as Sarjan logs off, I just want to kind of remind you guys that next Friday, October 31st, if you are in the DC area, you got to join us for After Dark Halloween experience happening at Darna Lounge. DJ Kia, DJ Maz, Tehran, and myself hosting it. It's going to be amazing. Tickets went up last night at midnight. They're going to go up again soon. So you got to get those before they continue to go up in price. So don't forget that. And something that I want to share here for the first time, we're going to be starting a online Zoom series called Can Do Conversations. I think it's so important for us to get a group of Iranians together from around the world so that we can have deep, impactful conversations about topics that really matter to us and that will help us, thrive as a community. So look out for Can Do Conversations, the Zoom series, where we get to talk about a lot of things that have to do with the Iranian diaspora. Appreciate you guys for joining in. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., my guest will be Katoyuna Golesani. She's also going to be one of the practitioners at the Impact Retreat happening in January in Miami. More info, link in bio. Much love, guys. Khoda Hafez. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Bomide Didar. Mohkam be jalo.